Hello, English 112 students, and welcome to yet again a fun-filled week. So this is week 4, so we are getting into the thick of it. Since we only have an 8-week course, I'd like to direct you to the side panel here. So if you would like to get a good sense of what the rest of the course looks like, you're welcome to kind of dance through it a little bit and browse. There are not many of the sections that are fully fleshed out, but I do have some placeholder things like your one-pager in Précis for rhetorical situations that's in there. And then I also have an annotated bibliography that's going to be coming up right before Thanksgiving for your research essay. Which will be your final for the course. And then we'll have a rough draft followed by your final. And don't worry if you are like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? What final? It will be more fleshed out next week. I just want you to be aware that it's coming and also to start thinking about what kinds of topics you might be interested in regarding to literary argument. Especially since we've gotten through some Dickinson, some Whitman, and now we're going to be doing some Rossetti and Gilman. And so as you are kind of going through the course and you get ideas, like start thinking about what you might want to do for that final, because we'll be getting into it a lot more so next week. So this week is going to have a lot of content in it. Some of it is going to be review from the rhetorical situation that we kind of delved into last week. So if you go back a week, like I did a little lecture on Space Cat, and I talked to you a little bit about like rhetoric and what a rhetorical précis is and how to do that. And so the rhetorical situation, and I had a lecture on Space Cat there. And so all that is there for you and it is available for you at any point that you need to reference it, but just so that you know, like some of those concepts are going to be challenging, and that's okay as you're going through it. So I put here the placeholder for your rhetoric and Space Cat project. And again, reach out to me. I fully anticipate that a lot of you will do the one pager in a digital format as opposed to a handwritten format. But if you want to, you are welcome to do it and upload a picture. Otherwise, a lot of people do it on a digital form. I like one pagers because they're a pretty clean way to understand like a text fully rhetorically. And so if you browse through the examples and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, also let me know. So in regards to Gilman and Rossetti, so like you're going to see here that there are lots of pieces of information that you can use in order to understand Gilman and Rossetti a little bit better. So you're going to read Lusus Naturae, which is it's a short story. The Yellow Wallpaper, which is in your Norton Guide to Writing, and then Goblin Market. Now, Goblin Market is a long poem, and so if you don't want to read the whole thing, I do have an online staged reading of it, so you're welcome to do that. If you don't want to listen, if you don't want to read the whole poem in one sitting, sometimes it's nicer to hear it anyway, just because you can hear all the rhythms. And then here I do have discussion notes and lectures on both of these pieces to give you like a more robust understanding of their work. And so that has a lot of information about like how we would go about discussing the text and going into it. A lot of these pieces, what you'll see this week is that they're kind of tied into the idea of madness and feminism and a woman's place and how those different interpretations of women's position translates into different poetry pieces and then also into short stories. And so I do have like some scholarship here that you can look at. And down for the coursework, we're going to do some practice for your project for rhetoric in real life. And so this is going to be practice for you to actually work through some ideas of Space Cat with your project. And so it's asking you to select a piece of rhetoric in real life and kind of go through the Space Cat process and like reading the text and figuring out like what the argument is that it's conveying here. And then you have a research post on Gilman and Rossetti. So once you've read through the poems and the lecture and all of that for the week, what you're going to be doing is picking a theme or a subject that's relevant. And to find a peer-reviewed article, you can use EBSCO, JSTOR, Google Scholar, whatever you would like, in order to like inform that theme. And I did put a couple of links here if you would prefer sources that have been found for you. But what you're going to do here is you're going to list the title of the article and the name of the journal, the publication. This is the identifiable citation information. 5 points that stand out, the thesis and the conclusions, and 6 sentences or more about the audience and how the writer organizes the ideas and using quotes. So all of this is kind of coming all together to build your skills for your final. So we are both practicing literary analysis skills. We're also practicing applied rhetoric. And so some of those things might be a little bit more challenging, which is okay, because in 112, we start getting into like more regarding literary analysis and argumentation. And so then, of course, your reader response this week will be on Gilman, Atwood, and Rossetti. And so I just want you to use at least 2 of them in order to take a position on the works. Everybody who did submit their 1-page responses from the first number 1, you have feedback, pretty extensive feedback on it. If you haven't yet engaged, I do want to see your writing so that I can help you cultivate and refine your ideas, make your writing more concise. So as you're working through this week, I know that some of this might seem challenging in an asynchronous course, but you all are doing wonderfully well. And also, please feel free to reach out if at any point you're not sure of how to do something. And as we are truncating this class, I know that it might feel a little bit pressed for time, but I'm here to support you as best I can. So have a wonderful rest of your week, and please let me know if you need anything.